At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, clickgranger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work podcast, where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
Thank you very much for coming on to That Will Never Work podcast. We have another powerhouse guest today. He is, how can I put it? An interesting guy, right? And I said that because one of the things that he has started was the entrepreneurial operating system. And when I heard about this EOS, I was really, really intrigued. I didn't know what that was or whatever. So we will share all the information in the show notes and in the description. But I also encourage you to go listen to other podcasts where he really gets into this EOS. But he has helped with EOS. He has helped thousands of business owners get a grip on their business, break through the ceiling, and deliver better results and more fulfilling lives for the people who run them. You know, his goal, his passion, and his purpose to help you unlock the power of human energy within the organization and get everyone rowing in the same direction, which is not easy to do, right? And help you get what you need and want from your business. I thank you very much for coming on today, Mr. Scott Goodrich. Scott, thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Great to be here on the show. Enjoyed our conversation beforehand. We'll just continue that on and keep on rolling.
Most definitely. So as before the show had come on, I was asking you or talking to you about some ideas, right? And so when we talk about vision, right, and that's one of the things that people don't understand when you talk about mission, vision, value statements, and things like that. But when you talk about vision being without traction, it's just hallucination, right? What do you mean by that? What was that idea?
Sure, and I want to make sure I give credit where credit's due. That quote has been around a little bit. The founder of EOS, the guy that wrote the book Traction, which is what EOS is based on, is a guy by the name of Gino Wickman.
Mm-hmm.
We just happen to look alike, but he's the guy that started the whole thing. So this is Gino's quote. And what that means is oftentimes, Maurice, we talk to entrepreneurs who have a great idea. Mm-hmm. They have a vision for what they want to create. They see an opportunity. Mm-hmm. Oh, if I just did more of this in this space, offered this service, had this product, mm-hmm. solved this problem, right? That's a business. That's that idea. So they're idea people. We call them visionaries. So mm-hmm. they've got this great idea. It's the unique person that has both the idea and the ability to execute and build a business around the idea. So what we say is that the vision is there for the founder, but it really is the traction, the execution that you need to have there, or else you're just dreaming. So vision without traction is hallucination. It's just a dream if you don't actually have the execution in place.
So now you talk about execution, right? So sometimes when we take a look at that word, executing, or getting to the point where whatever our goals may be, things like that, sometimes we get stuck because the goal seems too large, right? So how do we start to build up that traction to get to that end goal? Because sometimes we pull ourselves back. in that. So how would you suggest to someone to get over that hump, if you will?
Not only sometimes, every time you get stuck. So 100% of the time, right? There are no straight lines in trying to grow a business or taking an idea or taking a product from idea to a full business. So one of the first things we talk about when we work with our clients is, what do you do when you get stuck? We call it hitting a ceiling, call it getting stuck, hitting a brick wall, whatever the terminology is, it's the same concept. You're going to have something that's going to take off, and then you're going to come to a point in time where you just can't break through. You don't know where to go next. Heck, you might even start falling backwards a little bit from a quick start. And so we talk about introducing 5 really simple leadership abilities to overcome and to utilize when you get stuck. And I'll just go through them. We don't have to dive deep on them, but they are in order. And you would attack the problem in this way. Is it simplified? Do you know, can you make it more simple than what you've done so far? So simplify is our first one. Second, can you delegate what needs to be delegated? Have you done that? Or are you trying to do everything yourself? Right? So delegation is the next, right? Have you looked at the structure of your business? So do you have the right people in the right spot? Or are you trying to be the chief cook and bottle washer and trying to do all this things? So have you brought in structure that will allow you to do that? A big part of it, right? So that's there. What is your ability to predict? Do you know what your next week, what your next month, what your next quarter looks like? So we talk about predicting, getting really good at that. And then lastly, have you brought in any system that's going to allow you to keep things in order? So has the business got any processes there that are sustainable and repeatable and consistent, which will allow you to grow? So when we talk to our clients, we say, have you looked at it just through those lenses? And typically, if you go through step by step and look at them, somewhere along the line, you're going to say, oh, yeah, I got an opportunity here. I've made this too complex. I'm holding on to too many things. I got to bring somebody else into the fold or let them take some work so I can focus on the bigger things. So those 5 leadership abilities are a way that we try to break through the ceiling. And then we have a number of tools that we introduce that fall in line with those 5 leadership abilities.
So when you talk about simplify, that's just a really simple word, right? But it's not that simple. So how would someone try to simplify their process, their goals, or anything, to a point where they feel as though they can actually achieve it?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a simple example and one that we use time and again. So let's say you and I are the only 2 employees of a business. So our communication, right, it's 2 ways, me to you, you to me.
Right.
That's all that we need, right? Let's say you add a third person into that organization. That communication is not 3 ways, it's 6 ways. Right? So as you add people into your organization, the challenge around communication, which sounds really simple, is exponentially. Because if you add a 4th person into that business, it's actually now 12-way communication. Right? Because I got to be able to communicate with each person individually, then back to me, right? So it's an exponential increase. And so if you don't have a way that you're going to be very clear about how you're going to communicate one another, who's going to own what, where does one set of responsibilities start and another one stop? Right? That's the kind of thing that we talk about, just as an example of how you think about something so simple as communication. Oh, I used to just have to send an email to Maurice and he can send it to me. Oh, no, wait a second, I got to copy and come other people. Everyone's got an idea. I've really made this more complex.
Right.
It happens that quickly. And so we just encourage our owners, our founders to really think about, okay, what is it you set up and is that as clean as it can be? Have you done that? Right. Another one is in process. A lot of people love to build process manuals and binders that never get looked at again. They sit on a shelf and gather dust.
That's true too.
Sure, you've got some clients you've seen that. It's like, I got an employee handbook. Yeah, I haven't pulled it out in 2 years. So when we talk to clients about building and really providing some systematic relief for the organization, 2-page process. This is how we deal with people. 2-page process. This is how we're going to build our sales process. Right? It's simple. You don't have time to build a manual that no one ever looks at. Just another way when we talk about keeping things simple all the time. Because as an entrepreneur, you got your hands in too many things to worry about.
Right.
Keep crazy and complex. You can't do what you do in a large corporation with all of the folks that are around that support that you're doing everything. And it's one of the hardest transitions it can be to come out of a corporate environment into being an entrepreneur and trying to build a business. The resources out there, you are the resource, and the
Right.
first couple people you find,
Right.
so you're doing everything.
So even talking about that, how do you know when to delegate, right? Going to the next point, right? How do you know when to delegate, especially if you don't want to lose what your vision is for your organization?
It's a great question. One of the hardest things that folks find, because you have the idea and you don't want to let go at
Right.
all, right? And it's not there, but you're going to realize that delegation, when you hit that ceiling and say, well, I can't keep doing it all. If I don't let a little something go, right, I'm not going to be able to move past what's here. Now that brings in another set of complexities, which is what people am I going to add? So, right, because you want to make sure you bring on the right people in the organization.
Right.
The answer, and I feel this myself, so because I do own a small business as well, on top of my own coaching, is you need to delegate before you think you need to delegate. Get ahead of it, and it's hard because it's also an investment. It's a cost. There's a great book out there called 10x is easier than 2x. It is written by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. These guys, they know entrepreneurs. They live it. Dan Sullivan's got a great program called the Strategic Coach. They get all the credit for this, and they just talk about that. You need to continue to delegate the stuff outside of what you're doing, so you can focus on the stuff that you're really good at. And the only way to get your business growing exponentially at that 10x level is to continue to push things away, so you can continue to focus on the really big things. As a business owner, if you're worrying about all the little pieces of it, you're going to become really ineffective and be unhappy, and you're going to make your team unhappy because you're in their business. Let them do the things they're good at. You do the things you're good at. And as long as you always know that, and you stay focused on the things that you're really good at and that you like to do, you're going to be able to keep moving forward. When you get hung up on the other stuff and find yourself doing a bunch of things that maybe you're good at, but you don't like it, or even worse, you're not good at it and don't like it, right? You spend your time that's trouble. And this is the hardest thing. This is the question I ask folks when I have my podcast, and when I'm talking to them or talking to businesses, I can't afford to do that. And the question really asked is, can you afford not to delegate that out? Can you be happy with your business at this size? Or if you really want to achieve something, can you afford to wait any longer before you get that off your plate?
So one, as I'm listening to you, what is coming to my mind is the word forecasting, right? Which is one of the parts of this process, right? Yeah. So how important is forecasting? Because it kind of ties all this together. Even though it's further down the list, but it's just as important as any other piece. So how important is that or how do you express to someone the importance of forecasting their business? Just something as simple as, when is it time to delegate?
It's important. It's really hard as well. I mean, it's both those things. So when we talk about predicting, we're typically using it in the terms of understanding the real data that's associated with your business. I'm sure you've met these folks, Maurice, along the way that have great instincts, and they kind of run the business based on those instincts. They've got a real gut feel. They maybe are emotional, but it served them well, and the business is doing okay, even though they're running it more on that gut instinct. Okay, yeah, I think we should do this, right?
Right.
So what we encourage our teams to do, and those running on EOS, is to actually every week predict what's going to happen via a scorecard. Right. And this, it sounds super simple. Like if you're sports fans, like, well, of course you keep scores. What's part of playing sports? Or, oh yeah, I belong to a big organization. We have all sorts of KPIs. Well, oftentimes it's a look back. What we're seeing is actually, what do you need to have happen each and every week to move the business forward? So they're activity-based metrics. So let's just take a small business that's, they've got a couple salespeople out there, and they know that they need to talk to 20 prospective clients to make 2 deals, and they need to do 8 deals a month to make their simple math. Well, we say, let's track the activity. So what has to happen to talk to 20 people? Well, I have to pick up the phone 40 times a day. Okay, there's a metric. Pick up the phone 40 times today. because right, and this is kind of old school cold calling, but just you get the point, right? The
Right.
activity associated with that. Don't tell me what the sales numbers are at the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what the activity is that's going to drive those sales numbers. Because if that activity drops, well, I can predict what's going to happen with my business and my revenue and my forecasting on the revenue, which is the lifeblood of any business as it's growing. I got to know what's
Right.
coming in so I know where to invest and what this is going to look like.
Right.
So we have our clients predict weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. So they're
Wow.
always predicting this is what the things that have to happen then in order for me to achieve where I want to get to. So you're not just winging it.
Okay. Okay.
You get really good at it after a while. It takes practice like anything, right?
Right,
It sounds
right.
simple, not easy. And it's odd. I'm a sports fan, so I get keeping score, and I've
Right.
been in sales and I understand metrics, but man, it can be hard for folks to really get their arms around understanding what are these metrics that really are going to tell me what's going on in my business week in, week out. And I mentioned sales, but it could be revenue coming in. It could be people that are past due and that owe me money, and am I
Right.
tracking them down? What activities do I have to call back all of my clients that are accounts receivable? You know your business
Right.
better than I do. I just would make some suggestions, but these
Right.
metrics are the ones that are important to you. And so I use one in my own coaching practice. These are the 6 or 7 things that I need to track every week, and I can tell you how my business is going to flow after that, whether those are red or green.
So let me ask you this then. So I'm gonna kind of go backwards, right? You know, so how do you know that you're running your business effectively, or if your business is running you? How would you know that? You know.
Yeah, it's more often than not. So we say about 95% of entrepreneurs are in the business is running you category. Doesn't mean it's bad. Some people really enjoy that. Some people are so intertwined with their business that that's where they tell you they find comfort. I love to work. It's there. It's my passion, and it's intertwined in there. But that business is running them, and they're spending all their time working in that business on the day-to-day grind, the day-to-day work that's in there. Yet remember, they founded the business on their really good idea of whatever product or service they were going to offer.
Right.
It's really about 1 in every 20 businesses that we say are really running smoothly, running effectively. The leader, the founder, is thinking about the big things, where the business is going to go next, is using his or her creativity and brain power to set the path forward, and is not in that business. They're not spending the time in that little stuff. They've delegated effectively. They know exactly. They've gotten good at predicting. Right, the structure's in place. The systems are repeatable, sustainable, build consistency. That's 5% of the time. It's the rare duck. Most everyone is chasing down a lack of control, trying stuff that's not working, totally frustrated, wondering what's going to happen next, hitting ceilings. Like that's where the majority of folks are. And I'm sure you see it.
I do. I see it often. You know.
No, I'm saying those folks can still be successful. I mean, you can see, you can run into folks like they're just, because of that hard work and that energy and they get so much from it that they're just powering through, which is fine. But when we talk to business owners, we try to find out, what do you really want from your business? Like, tell us what it is that you want. Do you want to exit in a few years? You want to turn it over to your kids? Is it something that you want to just be the thought leader, but I want other people to run it every day? Like, let's talk about what you really want from it. And then let's design all of the work that happens weekly, monthly, quarterly around that. But let's be intentional.
So what if somebody wants everything? You know, you know, because you know
the answer to that. You can't have it all. It's not going to work that way. You know, it does not work that way. Right? You have to do it. Maybe what they want is, I've created this idea, but I've got 3 other ideas.
Right.
So I want this one to get cooking so I can start working at that next idea, because I love the building part, but I don't like the maintaining part. That's what they want. Then, okay, well, then the current business needs to be able to run effectively without you in it every day. Great. Let's make that happen so you can go tackle the next mountain. Totally good. So there are certainly some folks that would describe themselves as serial entrepreneurs, or can't wait for the next thing, or they're only builders, they're not maintainers. So you want to be able to feed that as well. That's what makes it, right? And when people create new ideas, new businesses, and being innovative, that's what keeps the economy moving forward. So you've got to be able to feed those folks. But I think the important thing is they realize that that's what they're about, and they're not about the building out of the sustainable systems that are going to allow that business that they've already created to keep on rolling.
So what is EOS, right? And how can people implement or contact you about this information?
Sure. So EOS is short for the entrepreneurial operating system, and it's just a collection of simple tools and disciplines and techniques to run your business day to day. It has nothing to do with software. So I do like to dispel that notion because sometimes folks hear the word system and they
Right.
think software. This is a really about a way to make sure that all of the energy in your business is running in the same direction towards the same goal and getting clarity about that. So we talk about clarifying your vision. So yeah, you had an idea of what this was going to be, but where you're really headed, gaining traction, right? So making sure that you're executing well, and then ultimately building really healthy teams that work together so that they are rowing the same direction. So vision, traction, and healthy are the three cornerstones of EOS. So there's a couple things you can do. First step, buy the book Traction, or if you reach out to me, I'll send you one for free. So free book of Traction is an offer to anyone there, but read the book Traction, listen to the book Traction, however you like to digest information. You're going to learn something about your business and about how you're operating your entrepreneurial business by reading that book. So I would start there. Then you can go a couple different paths. You can take those tools and try them out for yourself. I got it. I can do it. Folks, we have a lot of companies do this. Probably we estimate right now about 200,000 or so companies that are what we call self-implementing EOS, which means they read a book and they've got it and they're going to put in and use those tools. So go for it. If you're someone that needs a little help staying disciplined, maybe you're someone that likes to go to the gym, but if I have a personal trainer or a class that I like to go to, because that's how I'm getting workout as opposed to just me doing my workout.
Right.
Call someone like me. We have 700 or so coaches that do what I do across the globe, certainly one in your city, one in your area. And that person will come in and teach you and guide you through a process of how these tools work, how they look in your business, and facilitate a bunch of training sessions with you to be able to bring that to bear in your company and make changes that you need to make. So you can go your own way, call a coach. It works for whatever works best for you. We want to make sure that you have that. But I think you'll find that if you spend some time in the world of traction and immersed in it, you're going to find some stuff that really resonates and is going to allow you to move your business forward at the pace that you want to.
So what is your website or social media, or even where can they even purchase the book?
Sure. Yeah. So if you just email me, Scott with 2 T's .Goodrich, like the tires, at eosworldwide.com, right? That's my email. And I get your book that way. My website is just EOS Worldwide / my name, Scott Goodrich. So you can see my website and you can see all about EOS is there. So check out eosworldwide.com and you get the information there. Then if you want to hear me talk to people about this and what their business is like, you can listen to my podcast, which is called Grow Your Damn Business.
Yes, it is.
Check out Grow Your Damn Business. And I talk to entrepreneurs and talk about all this fun stuff about their journey and all the ceilings that they hit and how they broke through. And recently, I talked to a lot of people that it took 9 years to be an overnight success, because that's what it takes.
That's how long it takes. Scott, man, I appreciate you coming on today. I appreciate explaining vision and delegation, things like that. Cause these are some things that I need to work on myself. I appreciate it, man.
Don't we all? It's a constant challenge. Yeah. That's what makes it fun.
So like I said, I thank you for coming on, but I have one thing to ask you before I let you go. Is my would you rather question I ask every guest on my show. Right. Would you rather choose a fork in the road or 3 doors?
3 doors.
3 doors. Interesting. And why 3 doors? Why 3 doors?
Options.
Okay.
It's funny. I was saying, well, I hate making all these decisions, but what? My entire career, all I've done is make decisions. So I'm okay to have the options, put all in front of the table. I like to work collaboratively. So let's put all those things at the table and choose. So for whatever reason, when you said that, I'm like, well, let's talk about 3 doors. There's got to be different paths that we can follow. So let's give me 3 doors instead of 2 forks.
Well, you know what, though? Most people they want that fork in the road. They only want 1 or 2 options, and when I first started asking this question, everybody wanted more options, more doors. You get what I mean? Yeah. But recently it's been, no, just give me left or right.
And you and I talked before, maybe their heads are just full. There's a lot of stuff going on out there, right? So this may be like, let me just narrow this down. So totally get it. But yeah, for me, 3 doors hit.
All right, nice. Well, Scott, thank you very much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Enjoyed it. Thanks for having me, Maurice.
Thank you. And continue to listen to That Will Never Work podcast.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Chisholm Group LLC and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work, or will it?
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.